Welcome to the Cashflow Hustle Podcast, the show providing listeners with massive value through guidance, tips, and stories from a broad spectrum of active entrepreneurs and thought leaders in the real estate, business, financial, and personal improvement arenas. If you find yourself on the journey to financial freedom and independence and are looking to get out and stay out of the rat race, then buckle in as we take a deep dive to help you achieve the life of abundance and fulfillment that is rightfully yours. And now, here's your host and fellow cash flow hustler, Justin Grimes.
Hey there, fellow cash flow hustlers. This is your host, Justin Grimes. I appreciate you tuning into the show today. With us today is a gentleman that I met in this past February at a real estate investing event in Denver, where he's from. So, Mr. Stuart Grazier. Stuart, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me, Justin. I appreciate it. This is awesome. I love what you're doing.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming on, man. So a little bit background on Stuart. So he's an active duty Navy pilot who has served 16 years in the military. I want to take a second to pause there and thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you, man. I love what I do, so it's fun.
Good. I appreciate it. During a 14-month deployment to Iraq in 2008 and 2009, Stuart had the opportunity to do a deep dive study into real estate investing and learned about the power of passive income. Through endless learning, lots of determination, and continuous action, he and his family have become financially free over the past 10 years. From house hacking before the term was coined, to monthly budget meetings and frugal living, to investing in real estate mortgage notes, private lending, commercial property syndications, and buying cash flowing rental properties, they are on the path to an early retirement and financial independence. So good stuff there. You got a lot of different tools in your belt. So we'll kind of cover some of each of those. So do you mind telling the listeners a little bit more about yourself and maybe how you got started?
Yeah, absolutely. So just kind of like you said, I did a real long deployment to Iraq in 2008, 2009. And it gave me a lot of time to study, to read, to learn. And so I just dove into all things, real estate related and just, financially related in general. It kind of had like just a huge mind shift on me. I started actually with taking the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University class. And so that kind of got me going with, budgeting and becoming debt free and learning the path, to being debt free and staying that way. So I got started with that. And then from there started learning about investing. So I came back really, really excited, really fired up, and started looking into, what I could do. I had saved a lot of money while I was on deployment, and I'm from Dallas originally. So I was back home on leave, visiting family, and went to a real estate, local meetup and met with some folks. And there was an individual who was, flipping homes, and he was looking for, private money lending. And I had a decent little chunk of cash saved up, and so I decided to invest with him. And that kind of started down the path of learning how to lend and, that whole like mortgage business. So I started doing that. So really got into that, and we can talk about that investor and experience a little later. I think there's some sections about what fell apart and what went wrong. So we'll talk about that a little later. But really that allowed me to start learning the mortgage note business. And, I'd say the bulk of my business has been mortgage notes over the past 10 years and have since, accrued a pretty decent portfolio of mortgage notes. And, I just love the passivity of it all. And I know that, you're doing some mortgage note stuff as well. So. Yeah,
absolutely. That's how we hit it off, I think, at the conference. I don't know how many people were there, maybe a few hundred. And, Stuart and I happen to have lunch in the same restaurant, and you do mortgage notes. I do mortgage notes. Cool. So that's how it all began. So I'm interested to learn, a little bit more about that story. Also, your house hacking. Did you do that early on as well, or did you do that a little later?
No, yeah, that was real early on. And it really wasn't, I mean, the intention behind it wasn't really like real estate investing, if you will. It was really just a way to kind of like save money. I had bought a really expensive house in San Diego kind of before I really knew what I was doing. I was kind of young and dumb and thought it'd be a good idea to buy a huge expensive house in San Diego. And at the time I bought it, I was single. And bought it with another friend of mine, and we decided to have roommates and just rent out rooms and to help pay the mortgage. And they basically were pretty much covering our mortgage on our house. And then I met my now wife out in San Diego, and we got married. I went on the 14-month deployment and then came back, and on my deployment, they, filled the rooms, kept people in there. And then I came back and we just decided to continue to have roommates while I was married for the next, I guess it was like 3 years when we lived in San Diego.
Nice.
So
tough to beat the free mortgage.
Yeah. It was a pretty good deal. I will say that, newly married, living with roommates is a challenge. But yeah, so, definitely some lessons learned there.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet that's unique. Yeah, maybe some things not to do there, perhaps.
Right.
But
yeah,
definitely save some money. In the show notes, I'll have some links to some good articles on, what is house hacking for those who may not know. And it's a powerful tool, man, like you said, to cover the majority, if not all of your expenses for the mortgage note that you're paying down. So,
right.
One of the things I notice you're pretty active on right now is, I don't know what the proper term is, but it's kind of remote investing. I mean, you're living in Denver, but you're investing in different states almost across the country. So can you kind of talk through how that business is structured and what it's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I, like I said, I've been in the mortgage business quite a bit, and over the past couple of years, what I've learned just kind of through, through the process of all of my mortgage notes, mostly are outside of my IRA, so just held in an LLC, and over time that it's gotten to a pretty decent portfolio. And I found that there's not a whole lot of tax advantages to owning the mortgage notes outside of an IRA. There's just not much you can do as far as write-offs and stuff. So over the past 3 or 4 years, I've had a pretty decent tax bill, which I guess is a good problem to have. But at the same time, I'm always trying to find ways to make it better. So I started buying what I was told was really the only way to offset that is just to buy physical property, to start trying to offset that. So that's what we started doing. We came back. I did a tour overseas. We lived in Naples, Italy for 3 years. And then once we came back, we made the decision to start buying property. And so I did a bunch of research on different markets, and really liked Birmingham, Alabama. And I had found a company out there that was kind of doing the turnkey model. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to just go with turnkey at first to kind of learn that process and learn the business. And so I bought 4 houses in Birmingham, Alabama. Okay. And from there, then I started kind of learning what they do, how they, what processes they have in place. And there were a few things that I, didn't like. Not that it was a bad investment by any means, but I think there were some ways that I thought I could do better. Mm-hmm. And my college roommate had kind of done the same thing. He had bought some stuff in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. His wife is from there, and so they had owned some property there. And so we kind of started talking hey, we can kind of do this thing on our own, put a team in place. And he had already kind of had a team, and we just built upon that team, and just started networking. And he asked his, I think it was his contractor, hey, is there a good realtor out there? And he had put us in touch with the realtor. And then from the realtor was kind of the backbone of our team. She's been in the business for 28 years. She knows everyone in that city. And from there, we just kind of started branching out and building like a really solid team in Milwaukee, and put a business together, put a business plan in place, and we decided to start buying the distressed property, rehabbing the properties ourselves, putting renters in them, and then keeping some for ourselves, but then also trying to sell some to our network, of friends. I have a website called Military Investor Network.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's our idea is really just showing other people how to buy cash flowing real estate that'll set them up for financial freedom. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Are you guys owner financing some of those buyers, or are they coming in with traditional lending?
So we've started just with traditional lending. We're using private money to buy the houses.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of doing like that BRRRR strategy. We have, our own group of folks that just want to be the lenders.
Mm-hmm.
And we're teaching them how to be lenders as well. Cause I've done it myself for the last 10 years. So I really know that business. So we're getting private money, buying the house, fixing them up, and then selling them to other investors who, for the most part, are using conventional lending. We have had a few that have bought just with cash, and we give them a discount when they do that. And then they can, do a refinance, cash out refinance later on.
Gotcha. Okay. So you find a property and you rehab it. Your partner's in Milwaukee?
Nope. So my partner is also active duty Navy. He lives in Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay.
And I live here in Denver, and we have, completely put a remote team there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Awesome.
So we just, we've kind of put all of our trust and faith in the team, and I think we've really built a solid team there, and we're always building upon that and learning, and we have weekly conference calls, and we've set goals and specific details of what we're looking for, what we want, and we have contracts in place, and so we really started from ground zero with building that process from the get-go.
Nice.
So it's gone well so far. I think we're in month 4 now of starting the business, and we're on deal number 6.
Awesome.
So yeah,
outstanding. So all starts with the team, and then I'd say too for you guys, just establishing that trust, but helping be very open and detailed, perhaps in your communication on what the expectations are, and then they send you videos and walkthroughs and things as they progress.
Absolutely. Yep. So our realtor, who we're really calling our project manager, she goes and walks the houses on a weekly basis. She sends us weekly update videos of how the rehab is going, goods, bads, and difference, and then she helps us with determining the contractors and how they're doing, and approving the draws for the contractors.
Okay.
So she is our eyes and ears on the ground.
Awesome. I'm just curious, if you don't mind, is she incentivized through traditional commission and things like that, or do y'all have her kind of cut into the business plan?
So we give her a flat fee on every deal that we do, and then we do have some incentives on how well the deal goes.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. Let's see here on, when you're kind of out there searching for a deal, how are you analyzing these things? You shared some things online, I think. I mean, you've got some pretty detailed criteria, spreadsheets and stuff. Can you kind of talk through what makes a good deal for you? What makes something you want to pass on?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest 2 criteria that we've set in place are when we buy the house, it has to be that the purchase plus the rehab has to be equal to or less than 75% of the ARV.
Okay.
And then we also do an analysis on the back end when it becomes a rental, and when we sell the property to our end investor, the minimum cash on cash return has to be 10%.
Okay.
And so we have, some spreadsheets that we kind of plug in all the numbers and crunch those ahead of time. And so if it meets the 75% loan to value basically, and it meets, 10% cash on cash returns, a rental property on the back end, it's in a good area. Our realtor, knows the area way better than we do. And, she gets on like truly a crime map and make sure it's in a solid area. And then we go from there. If we have money in place, then we'll do the deal.
Perfect. Let's talk a little bit about that. Maybe that one example where you mentioned where things didn't quite go as planned as they tend to do. So mind sharing about that story?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, back when I first started doing the lending, a gentleman I met that I started investing with, I was still like super young, super new into the real estate game, and I'm kind of a guy who just like takes action, and sometimes with not as much information as I probably need, and that was kind of the case with this individual. He was borrowing quite a bit of money from different investors, and I guess he got a little too big for his britches, and the paperwork that he was providing to us as investors wasn't really legit. Like they weren't getting recorded at the county courthouse. Like the first lien positions weren't really first lien positions at all. They were just basically like fake paperwork. And he started using like the same paperwork on the same houses for different investors. And he basically finally got caught up in his own scheme, and another investor that had way more money into the investments than I did, basically took him to court and sued him, and caught onto his scheme. And so he ended up going to jail for it, and owing a lot of money, and owing quite a bit of money to me as well, which I never got back. But along that process, at first I was like, angry and mad, and tried to like find a lawyer to like jump on the bandwagon and try to sue him as well. And I met a real estate attorney in Dallas, just kind of trying to go through that process. And he was also a big investor, and he did a lot of mortgage note investing. And so it was kind of like the start of like a great thing. He was like, "Hey, I'll take you under my wing. I'll show you how to do it right. Here's what the paper looks like." I went into his office, when I came back home to visit family, and he sat me down and really kind of showed me what the mortgage note business was all about. He introduced me to his team, his third party servicing company, the RMLO, that does all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it was really a start to like a great relationship.
Nice.
And yeah, so like, it started really bad, but then it's turned out really good in the end.
Nice. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's amazing. Just when you're down and out, there's something comes of it that benefits you later on.
Yeah.
What, I know you guys working remotely and stuff. Are there any particular tools, apps, or softwares or anything that you guys find really help you guys out?
Yeah. I was thinking about this question a lot, and, as far as like tools and resources, I mean, just in general, like resources, I think the biggest resource we have is our team, is people, mm-hmm. Just the network that we create through being open and honest and meeting people and setting those expectations and being real and being open, having open communication. Just having that teamwork and that network is huge. I mean, we couldn't do what we do without it. As far as, tools and apps, we're still pretty new at this business. We have a Dropbox account, and we've set specific processes in place. We have the same folders for every single deal. We put the same documents in every single folder all the time, every time. And so we kind of have set that process in place. We have some kind of just Excel spreadsheets that we've created as far as like tracking the deals, tracking when we send the draws for each contractor when we're doing the rehabs. We've looked into an app called Asana, which is like a project management application and website, and we'll probably start using that as we start to grow and have more deals in play at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something similar to Asana. Have y'all looked at Trello?
We have not, but we can for sure.
Yeah, check that out. I'm sure you can upgrade as you go, but I think similar project management as you go, the steps move and you drop and build your team.
Okay.
So
yeah, we'll check that out for sure. Thanks.
Cool. All right, man. Are you ready for the rapid hustle round?
I am. I'm ready.
What is your favorite resource, book, podcast, or other that you found useful in your cash flow hustle journey?
Yeah, so there's a book that I've read pretty much every year for the last 5 years, right around beginning of the year. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And, it's really about, just like compounding interest. It's doing the same thing over and over again for years and years on end. Real estate investing in general isn't like a get rich quick kind of scheme. So I've been doing this for 10 years now. And the book really just breaks down like how to set a goal and how to break down that goal into, monthly, weekly, and daily routines that will help you get there. They have a thing in the book called the Weekly Rhythm Register, and it basically just takes each goal, breaks it down one day at a time, and allows you to kind of, set, processes in place to help you get there. An example is if you want to lose 10 pounds, like what are you going to do to lose 10 pounds? And you're going to eat right on a daily basis, and then break that down even more, like how many meals, how many vegetables, and stuff like that. So it's really good. I think it has helped me a lot with just setting those processes in place to get me there.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds right up my alley. Cool.
Yeah.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice as you began your journey, what would it be?
Don't be stupid with your money. No, that one for sure. But probably read more books. I didn't really I hated reading when I was in high school and in college. But I started reading more books, probably around the age of 30. And ever since I've just been, reading, and it's really helped me grow, just always learning, and getting into new things. So I'd say read more books.
Nice. Yeah, there's some good stuff out there. We'll start with that, the compound effect.
Yeah.
Let's see here. An important part of growth is planning and setting goals, to your point earlier. Would you mind sharing maybe a goal that you have, personal or business?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So I am, just like you said, I'm 16 years in the military, and I can do a full retirement when I hit the year 20. So basically about 4 years left. And so my goal as far as investing goes, I'd like to have enough passive income, from cash flow from my real estate investing to replace my military income.
Awesome. Perfect.
So that way, when I retire from the Navy, I can have that pension check coming in plus my passive income, basically that replaces my military check, and I don't really have to be worried about going and finding a W-2 income right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff, man. Good. And then lastly, where do you go when you're looking for feedback or guidance?
Probably first and foremost, my wife. I look to her for pretty much everything. And she'll be the one that tells me I'm an idiot, or, that's a great idea. And then my business partners too, my friends, my business partner for our stuff going on in Milwaukee, David Gutierrez. He was my college roommate at the Naval Academy and closest dearest friend. So look to him for a lot of stuff too.
Awesome. On y'all's business, so it's military specific, and are you guys focused on bringing in active military or retired military into y'all's network solely, or are y'all other people as well? Or
other people as well. I mean, our mission really is to help empower military and veterans, but but I'm not going to tell somebody no, if they want to give me money or buy a house from me. No, we have it open to everybody. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Just curious. Okay, cool. Finally, how can the Cashflow Hustlers listeners get in touch with you?
Yeah. So I said a little earlier, I have a website called militaryinvestornetwork.com. And we have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram account. We have a YouTube channel where, we do some educational videos and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the best place.
Awesome. Perfect, man. All right. That's all I got for today. I really appreciate you taking the time out to beat the kids awake here. I know we're flirting with fire there.
I just heard them. They just woke up.
All right. Good time. Yeah. Great, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing your story and your time with us, and take care. And I hope to talk to you again real soon, man.
Absolutely. Thanks,
right.
Justin. I appreciate it.
All right. Good luck, man. Talk soon. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Cashflow Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes, Google Play, or the listening platform of your choice. Also, please check out the cashflowhustle.com, find us on Facebook, or reach out on Twitter at Cashflow Hustler for more useful content to help you on your journey to financial freedom. Until next week, embrace the journey.